Thank you, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Storytelling for Journalists, aka Instagram Reels. In this webinar today, our presenters will talk about what Reels are and why you use them, why you should be using them in your storytelling. We see a lot more newsrooms using them, mostly the younger journalists or newer journalists. I'm a veteran journalist based in Detroit. So we're going to turn it over to some newer journalists who are going to give you some tips on how to use Instagram in your reporting. They've done an excellent job in doing so. Thank you for joining us. This webinar today is presented by the New York and Michigan Solutions Journalism Collaborative. We're a group of news, academic, and community organizations who pool our time and talent and resources to cover chronic problems in our communities with a solutions lens. It's modeled on other successful news collaboratives supported by the Solutions Journalism Network. So we work to report on and reflect the diverse communities we serve. Our inaugural project was on caregiving. On the front lines, it's produced rigorous reporting on successful responses to challenges experienced by caregivers and older adults. Going forward, we'll be launching a new project on health equity. Our collaborative launched in May 2020 after using solutions journalism to cover the topic of caregiving. It was tested at the Democrat Chronicle in Rochester, and a group of other media outlets in Western New York and Southeast Michigan joined the following year. If you're interested in learning more about the collaborative, visit our website. It's here on the screen, or you can email me at the address above. We're also launching a newsletter, so go to our website and sign up there for more information. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters today.
You're muted.
Yeah, no, that I was asking how to mute. Sorry, everyone. I don't usually screen share, so this is a first. Hello, I'm Justice Marbury. I am from Rochester, New York, and I am the Democrat Chronicle's caregiving solutions reporter. On the screen, you can see some fun facts about myself. Like one of my hobbies is home renovation, and another is playing board games. So, Marili.
Hello, my name is Marili Vaca. I'm from Connecticut. I also graduated RAT with Justice. Go Tigers. And I am the social media reporter / strategist at the Democrat Chronicle. And some of my hobbies are cooking and feeding people. So I like to cook, and I like to cook for others. So that's one fun fact about me.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, so this is kind of a step-by-step as to what we're going to be doing today. Part one is going to be what are Reels and why do we use them? Part two, we're going to be giving you some examples of different types of Reels. Part three is I think one of the most fun is going through the step-by-step of how to make a Reel. And then the part four is going to be the Q&A and how to reach out to us. We do ask that if you are going to be asking questions throughout the what's the word? Presentation. If you're going to be asking questions throughout the presentation, we ask that you use the Q&A, please, just to keep all the questions in one spot. Underneath, there are time spans of how long we think each part is going to take, although we don't exactly know. We just kind of base it off of how much each slide, how much time each slide is going to end up taking us. So this isn't like an exact number or time span. So.
Sorry, my keyboard is very sensitive, so it keeps switching the thing. So what are reels and why do we use them? Well, reels are a visual way to show information and things of that nature. They include music, videos, interviews, photos, voiceovers, captions, graphics, etc. You don't need to use all of them. You can, you don't have to, but it makes everything interesting. They're also very shareable across almost all social media platforms, as well as text and email. And then we use them because they're brief. They express information in a very short amount of time. They are diverse by reaching out to younger demographics and other demographics that may be using social medias and things like that. And I like them. This is my favorite reason why we use them, because they're informal and it's a different way to get out journalism. So the 4 different types of reels we're going to be going over today are videos with B-roll and music, a video with B-roll and text-to-speech, a video with B-roll and voiceover, and a video with B-roll and interviews and or photos. And we made sure for these, we're going to be showing some examples. We made sure to include some made by reporters, just to show you that you don't have to have a visual background, just like Marili and I. Anyone can make a reel. So the first reel that we're going to talk about is the video with B-roll and music, made by the Democrat Chronicle's very own Tracy Schumacher, our food, drink, and culture reporter.
Fire, I went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire.
Okay, so some things that this type of reel, and this one in particular, includes are different type of video angles and styles. So close-up video, wide angle video, still video, and pan video, as well as music. It's interesting because the music puts an emphasis on the actions happening in the actual reel. And it is a good example of storytelling because it highlights one menu item in an aspect of an overall story that she did. Okay. Sorry. This reel is a video with B-roll and text-to-speech made by myself.
Is the Miller Building emoji sparkles. It is permanent supportive housing offered by the Open Door Mission. There are 24 apartments available, 13 studios, and 11 one-bedrooms. The apartments are fully furnished with custom pieces designed and built by Hope Initiatives. Before its renovations, the Miller Building was used as the Open Door Mission storage space. Ooh, exposed brick. Some of the amenities include free laundry and a community room. To qualify for an apartment in the Miller Building, you have to be experiencing homelessness. Oops. There we go. The Miller Building is set to be fully occupied and running by November 1st.
So something that this type of reel includes are, multiple video angles and styles. This one includes still video and pan video. Also music and background audio. I'm not sure if you heard on this, but you heard like the woman saying like great scissors, Kate, because the scissors weren't actually cutting the ribbon. So that's some background audio. And then the text to speech, which is giving more information about and details about what you're seeing. It's also a great use for captioning. This video or this type of reel is interesting because it follows the trends of social media. I'm not sure how many of you have like TikTok or actually pay attention to Instagram reels, but a lot of people use the text to speech feature. It's just very popular. And it's a good example of storytelling because it documented the grand opening of this book.
Is the Miller Building.
It's gonna keep playing. This next example is B-roll with a voiceover made by Marili Vaca. So here we go.
So I recently went to Mochina to get a first-hand experience of their donuts. And let me tell you that they were delicious. Mochina is a donut shop in East Henrietta that also sells boba and Korean corn dogs. I was able to get a behind the scenes look of how they make their dough from scratch. And it was serious. Due to the high numbers of customers that day and every other day, they usually make their dough in large batches. So as you can see, there's flour, and then there's more flour. Everything is made in-house with all fresh ingredients. And when I say all fresh, I mean fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh everything. And as you can tell, presentation is key. They also have a variety of corn dogs to choose from, ranging from potato, ramen, original crispy, hot Cheetos, and you can get an inside of either mozzarella, hot dog, or both. Ah, don't they look beautiful?
So this type of reel includes different video angles and styles as well. This one in particular has close-ups, wide shots, and pan video. They also can include music and then the voiceover, obviously, which incorporates the voice of the reporter. This type of reel is interesting because it breaks the fourth wall. If you don't know what the fourth wall is, it's kind of this term that people in movies use. So Marili gave a good example when we did our practice round. If any of you have watched Deadpool and how instead of just seeing him as an actor, it's like, the talk to the audience, that's breaking the fourth wall. And it's a good example of storytelling through reels because the voiceover makes the news delivery informal and personable as well as engaging.
So
And this last example that we're going to be showing is a reel with B-roll and interviews, which can use photos as well, made by the Democrat Chronicle's Marquel Slaughter, our high school sports reporter.
Definitely this year, probably like at least 5 or 6 games. And I was just in my head so much. I feel like when I get to the play, I'm overthinking it. So me and my dad went to work and we just figured out that I was just thinking too much to the plate. And he always says to me, don't think, just do. And then after I applied that, I feel like I did. Mine's been probably a couple weeks. Same as Sam. My dad is like my biggest supporter when it comes to softball and how I hit and everything. So it's always been the little things that make the biggest difference. So we always figure out the little things that help, and we just play around with things, and it's been working out. My slump will probably last about a few games. I'm definitely like Sam and I like really get in my head. So when I'm up there, I'm just like, I think it's definitely like going out and practicing with my dad and like hitting myself really help. It can mine tend to vary. I like my most recent one is probably a few games. Like in the summer, I tend to hit a lot better than I do in school ball. Like I just kind of how that one went.
For attending this evening's game, everybody please track home safely. Have a great weekend and enjoy the weather.
So reels like this tend to include a talking head interview footage, which is what you saw just now. It's an interview where you don't just break in between, but you can with other B-roll, which is the video that you saw at the end is a type of B-roll. And it can also include music and, captions. Excuse me. It's interesting because you get to hear directly from the source, and it is a good example of storytelling because it incorporates the Q&A style of writing and follows technical aspects of journalism, like the lower thirds with the names in question. So right here, as I mentioned earlier, reels are very informal, and therefore captioning for them is a little bit more informal as well. Excuse me. Different captioning for Instagram is different as how you would caption in an art for photos that you would see in an article or video that you would see in an article. So I'm just going to give you a couple moments to read over these captions. Each of them relate to the reels in order from left to right.
I just wanted to jump in real quick and kind of just point out something in particular about some of the captions, how you can see that all the captions aren't exactly the same. Some of them were written out just kind of personal. I know that Tracy's caption is one that really catches my eye because she put in the ingredients, which is something that's a little unique. I didn't notice that until, going through that reel. And I think that's something that's just super interesting and informal and a little more fun, but it still gives that storytelling, aspect, especially because she says, my story on the new whiskey is online at the DNC. Follow the link in my profile, which, helps lead people into the story and drives people to that article online. So just kind of wanted to point that out as well.
All right, so we'll move on from this. We will be sharing the slide presentation as well as the video recording, so you can refer back to these later on. Okay, so we just went through a lot as far as different types of reels and things like that. So if you have any questions, you can drop them into the Q&A section of the Zoom.
There have been a few questions while you were doing your part. So if you want, I can read them out and we can answer them together. One of the questions from Sue is, who is doing the voiceover on the reel? The voiceover was me. I was doing it. Why did I sound raspy? I wasn't doing too great on my voice that day. But no, I actually did the voiceover for that. I actually wrote out like a whole little script for myself because I have a problem hearing myself speak. So I had to write out an entire script and then I just read over the script. Let's see. Who's doing the voiceover? Okay. And then for some of the other ones, it's text to speech. Let's see. I'm gonna try it. Let's go from the top to bottom. Another question was, are you allowed to use music like that Johnny Cash song? from what I know, while using Instagram, you can. I know there's another question here that talks about how some videos have been taken down because of music rights. I know that if you upload, you can upload music from your Apple Gallery, or like from your playlist into it. But if Instagram doesn't have rights to use that song, and if it's not already on the Instagram app, it probably would get taken down. So anything that is available on Reels, any music that is there available for you should be completely fine for you to use, because that means that Reels and that artist or that specific song have some sort of partnership with each other, in order to use that music for for socials. Do you have anything to add about that question?
Um, no, I definitely agree. I would say that there have been times where, even if I post like an Instagram story and I'm looking for a specific song and it's not there, then I would just assume that that doesn't follow under the Instagram guidelines. So the same songs, like if you're searching for a specific song when you're making a reel, if it's not already in the Instagram library, then it's probably one of the ones that they don't have rights to.
Yeah. Another question is the text to speech specific to Instagram, and is it easy to do? Oh, Sue, sorry, Sue said I meant the voiceover that sounded mechanical. Is it that voice to text? Yes, so those two are kind of go hand in hand. Yes, text to speech it is specific to Instagram. I do know that you can do it on like TikTok as well. And it is really easy to do. We will be going into a little more on some of the tools available to Instagram after this. Yeah, it's honestly as easy as typing out what you want, and then there's going to be 3 little dots and it says text to speech, and there's going to be a male voice and there's going to be a woman's voice, and you can choose either one. Yeah, it is pretty, I like to think it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy.
Next question is, what is the engagement like for your posts? That's a great question. I think the engagement changes. Usually I like to base engagement off of not exactly how many likes it gets, but more off of how many views it gets, how many views and how many shares. Because if it's shared, that means it's being sent to other people, to other friends, being shared on people's stories, being sent to other people's DMs. And that means other people are then watching it as well. I know, some posts may do better than others. And I do know that a lot of food ones do really well. But that's also personal to the DNC Instagram. You know what I mean? So it may change based on the kind of content that you're putting out. So you have anything to add for that one?
I would definitely say that it also depends on like the stories as well, because people interested in particular articles, if there's a reel or social media post that goes hand in hand with that, then if people are already interested in the article, maybe they're more inclined to watch the reel, because sometimes we don't put the reels into the actual article. Some of the Instagram posts are only for Instagram. So yeah.
Marianne asked, do you suggest that reels include captions? I know a lot of times I end up reading instead of listening to a video. That's a great question. Do you want to?
Yeah, I can answer that. I personally say yes. I think reels should include. Which captions are you talking about?
Are you talking about captions like in the we can go back to that.
Yeah, I'll answer for captioning in the reel. Okay, yeah. I would say captioning in the reel is very important. I went to RIT and we have NTID, which is the National Technical Institute for the Deaf. And so just to be more inclusive, I think captioning in a reel is probably the better way to go.
Yes, especially living in an area that has a large deaf and hard of hearing community. I think it's just nice to be a little more inclusive in those specific situations. And yeah, I think that was a great way to answer it. Tina asked, are reels more popular than photo galleries? I wouldn't exactly say that reels are more popular than photo galleries, because I think that reels offer things differently than how photo galleries can offer. I know that there have been multiple times where I'll post Tina's galleries on Instagram and they will do way better than a reel that I put out or something like that. It gets more shares, people engage more in the comments. So I would say that it's almost 50-50. It also depends on the content of the photos or the content of the reel and whatnot. Is it something that people want to watch or anything like that? So it could really go both ways.
For sure.
It says, how long does it take to prepare a reel? That is a great question. I think I'm going to leave that question for a little bit later, because we are going to be getting into how to make a reel and preparing one. So I can answer that in maybe like a few minutes, but we will be going back to that part. How much time would you say? Oh, next one. I will also be going back to that one as well. Do you edit the video in your phone and then upload the reels to enhance it, or can you splice and trim videos in reels?
I think, Marili, that these are all really
questions
good
for the next
questions
part, right?
for the next part, yeah. So we'll move on now, and you can go ahead and do that.
Alrighty.
Oops.
Okay, so for this part, I know it's a little weird, but I would love for you guys to take out your phones. I am going to be going through some tools and teach you what some of these different buttons do on Instagram, because how are you supposed to make a reel if you don't even know what any of the tools do? So if you can, please take out your phones, and if you have Instagram, I would love it if you would go to your Instagram app. On your Instagram app, there is a little plus button. Oh. I gotta do like a
Oh,
a
like
little plus button at the top, right? Like next to your name on Instagram, there's a little plus and a square, and it should pop up with like a drop down, and you can hit the word reel. And you should be able to just see yourself. And so we're going to be going through all of the buttons and everything that they do. The first one is going to be audio. If you want to click.
If I can, I was just gonna add that these next couple of slides are text heavy, but it's more so for your convenience later on after we share the presentation. Marili is gonna explain all of these to you, so you don't have to worry about reading them. And you can, it would probably be better, yeah, if, like she said, to pull out your phone, because it'll be more helpful to actually understand what they do as she explains it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't have Instagram Reels, there is a picture on the side that has all of the different parts that we'll be talking about. So if you want, you can refer to that photo next to it. So the first one is audio, where you can choose and adjust audio settings. This was the part where people were asking questions about what kind of music is available to you. You can type in the type of music you want. You can type in a genre or a name, and it will pop up with whatever Instagram actually has available to you. I usually like to do the like kind of lo-fi, hip hop type instrumental beats, because I think they're relaxing. But that's just kind of what I like to do. So that's where you could choose your music. The next one is the effects button, which is like these 3 little stars. The effects button is pretty cool. It gives various filters that can be overlaid your reel as you record. So because this is before you're making a reel, you can choose any filters. So there's like beauty filters, there's little like stars you can choose. There's also trending, which means these are the filters that are trending on social media right now, which is probably the filters that a lot of people are using and looking for. So that will help also boost your engagement, because it's trending, it's popular. The next one is your green screen, which is a new kind of thing that they added. It acts exactly like a green screen, but also it lets you change your background. If you look on Justice's, if you look on Justice's, you'll see that she is currently looks like what could be Italy in the background. You can change that picture, and you can also change it to a video from anything in your gallery, which is really cool for when you're going over stories, or if you want to point out a particular video, you can make yourself smaller and you can be like, hey, as you see here, and you can even point to it. It can be really fun if it, gets used in the right way. There is also an add yours filter on add yours, which is a video sticker that has either a trending topic, a question, a moment, a statement, and you can just click it and add it to the top of your reel or anywhere, and you add content that is related to the question, if that makes any sense. So if it says, let's see, one of the trending topics right now is strong mom, right? And so you would put either a picture or video of your mom, or you and your mom, and then other people can click on that trending topic and they can send you their pictures and videos of their strong mom, and they can reply to you, which builds engagement and is really fun because then other people kind of send you their stuff as well.
I was gonna say on the same thing, there's like numbers. So there's like small numbers. So on the strong mom one, it's like plus 1.1K. Those are all people who have used this sticker. So if you press it, you can scroll through all 1.1K of all the people that did it.
Yeah, most of these things tell you how trendy they are, quote unquote. So they tell you if it's popular or if a lot of people are using it or not. Let's get to the next one, which is length, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's the duration of your reel. It ranges from 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and 90 seconds. Although if you make a reel, like if there are other visual people here and you make a reel on Premiere or something like that, I think Instagram takes videos up to 10 minutes long. But when you're recording it and making it on your phone, you can only upload 1:30, which is about it. Which is a little weird, but it's okay. Then we have speed, which is the 1x. It just changes the speed of your video, so it can make it faster, slower. So if it makes it faster, you're gonna sound like a chipmunk. If you make it slower, you're gonna sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy. So the next one is layout, which is a little something different to me as well. The layout changes the screen's grid, and it has 6 different options to choose from. If you go to it and you hit the little layout button, it pops on with the drop down, and these are the 6 different types of layouts that you can choose from. And it's really interesting because if you click record and you're recording everything and you're doing what you do, and then you record on the other side, it'll look like this. It's the creepiest thing. I gotta delete that now. So yeah, and then you can also change the grid, and it'll like change out the layout of everything. Underneath that, there's also a scale and a timer. Your scale it changes the way that your videos or your photos fit into the screen. So if you have a horizontal photo that you want to put in your reel, you can change the scale and it'll make it to where it fits the whole screen. Or it fits that part or that corner of the screen, or it fits the like left panel or something like that. It's honestly something that you might have to play around with in order to get used to it a little bit. And then there's also a timer underneath that that changes how long each individual video is. So if you want to, you can like, it's almost like trimming. It's like trimming your video practically without having an actual video there first. So the next part is dual. which is actually really fun. You can honestly you can record the front and back camera at the same time. So if you're recording yourself, you want to record your reaction to something that's happening in front of you, that is possible. And it's fun. And there's also gesture control, which I just learned about recently. And it's the ability to stop and play your video by lifting up your hand. So if you are recording yourself doing like a TikTok dance or something like that, and you have your phone up and it's all the way on the other side of the room and you don't want to go all the way to the other side of the room, you pick up your hand and it'll stop your video for you. And then I did add templates at the bottom. If you look on the next to the word reel underneath, there's going to be templates. There are different types like already available videos with music that you can choose from, and you would just drop in your videos and photos into it, and it'll just do it all for you, kind of thing. And so there's also different like graphics and animations and in the templates option that you can choose from. So yeah, this is this slide. I know there's probably lots of questions, but we will get to them, I swear. Part 2 of learning how to make your reel. This part is the imagine you've already put all your clips into something, right? You've already made your video. And now you are in your editing area. So I just added a picture of me and my dog in here. And so it's just a picture of me and my dog. The first button that's on the top is going to be your download button. It's a little arrow with the little flat line. That lets you download your video. The only con of that is that it does not download your audio. So if you are, it doesn't and it won't download the audio, not just from the music, but it won't download the audio from your actual video that you uploaded. So it will literally download it and it'll just be silent. It'll be a silent video. Your next option is music. So if you have video and you don't know what kind of music you wanted to choose before making it, so you can choose what kind of music you want afterwards if you want instead. So and it's the same thing. You can just type in what you want and it'll pop up. Next one is the effects button. It's the same thing as before you edit, but if you didn't want to add effects beforehand, you can add them afterwards. So I've added this flaming effect that I have no idea. It's very weird, but yeah, that's something that you can add afterwards if you don't want to do it beforehand. They also have a stickers section. The sticker section is probably my favorite section, to be completely honest. If you click on that sticker that has the smiley, it's like a square smiley face, it has all of these different options here, right? It includes captions. This is where you put in, if you have audio and somebody's doing an interview and you don't have caption information, you click captions and it will create captions for you as you're speaking, and you can edit the captions as you go. It also has polls, it has quizzes that like you can ask a question and people can try answering it. You can add the weather, the time, you can add a GIF, you can have moving stickers. I think these little things kind of make the video a little more fun and engaging. So it just kind of adds a little pizzazz to it. And then you have your text button, which is the capital A and the lowercase a. That one is fairly simple. You can type out whatever it is you want to type out. And there's different options for colors, your line placement, if you want it to kind of be typed in and stuff like that. And so once you type that out, so I just kind of wrote the word hello. And you can then adjust it. And here is your text to speech. And you can choose, I don't know, let's choose voice 1. and it'll just say hello, and that's it. It's nothing special. Boom. So that is that is what happens, what you see when you're about to start editing. We can go to the next slide. This particular section is, I think, fairly important. If you go into your music section again, the audio, while you're editing, and you're gonna get taken to this screen right here. The first button is your controls button, which allows you to adjust the volume of your audio from your videos, your music, or your voiceovers. So it'll look like this. And imagine you have music and you have a voiceover. It'll pop up with 2 slides, and you can toggle which one you want to be louder and which one you want to be quieter. So you might want your voiceover to be hot, like louder than your music. So that's something that you can do. The next option is the voiceover option, and it's really just a record button, and then it will go through. So when I said that, like I had to write a script out first, I had to write a script out, and then I like recorded myself doing it, and it was all one full take of me just recording. Your next one is your saved button. That one is just music and audio that you have saved over, like, as you've been looking through your videos. So you can go back and be like, oh, like I saved it. I remember I saved this audio from 2 weeks ago and I want to use it. So you can go back, find that audio, and then use that audio that you saved. The next one is your import button, which means you can import videos, like other videos that you've taken, and use that video as a voiceover instead. So if you have B-roll from a carnival and then you took an interview from somebody and you wanted to add that audio in there, but you didn't want the interview itself, then you could use that audio and you can just import that video. And the next one is probably my favorite, which is the sound effects, which has a variety of sound bites ranging from a fart noise to an applause to a whoosh sound. And you can kind of play around with that. There's a ton of different options to choose from, especially if you have, you're at a basketball game and somebody did something awesome, you can do the applause sound. So that could be fun. So this next part is, I took a screen recording of me actually making a reel. So this is what you're gonna see is like my process of making a reel. Before I even started making the reel, I did go into my gallery and I hearted or favorited all of the videos that I wanted to use for that event. So I just wanted to have everything all in one place before choosing them. Then you go into your reels, you go to add your clips, and to make it easier, you could just go, instead of hitting recents, go to your favorites, that little drop down with the caret that says there. If you click your favorites, it'll pop up with all of the videos or photos that you hearted. And so because I already had all of them hearted and set up, I just clicked all the ones that I wanted and I was like, okay, these are all the ones. As soon as I did that, it pops up with an option to just sync all of your footage to music if you wanted to. Can you still hear me?
Sorry, what was that?
You can hear me?
I can't hear you over the music, but it's playing from my side. So if anyone can't hear Marili while the music is playing, please message in the chat so that okay.
Yeah, please put in the chat if you can hear me. I know that it can be kind of difficult with the video playing and me trying to talk as well. I know that for this particular part, we decided to just sync I decided to just sync the music, the audio oh my goodness, the videos to the music. That's what I'm trying to say. And I kind of just let the music do the work for me. That's why I put that, like, let the music do the work for you. So it gave me options that were similar to what they saw in the video. And then it just gave me all of these different like musical options. And I just clicked the one that I wanted the most. So you can keep playing the video if you want. So here you can see that I am now currently going through the all of the clips that I have. Here you can reorder them. So right now I'm reordering the clips. So I'm putting them in the order that I want them to be in so that my story flows a bit better. So as you can see, I'm putting like all of the clips that have food all in one section, all of the clips that show an activity or something all in one section. And so this is me kind of just like going through it. It's also a little bit different. I do know that, you know, I know what the videos look like, so I know where I wanted to put these. So that's why it just looks like I'm going through it a little faster. And then I start adjusting the length of each clip. Some clips, they aren't in the right spot that I want them to be, or some of them are too long, or some of them are too short. So as you can see, I'm adjusting them. If you want to, do you mind fast forwarding on this video to the part where I start editing the audio? Nope, keep going.
A little bit more. Here?
No, keep going. Okay. And so now you can play it. So then here I start going through the video, and then I end up adjusting the audio because the music was way too loud. And so you can adjust the audio by clicking the little music button, clicking controls, and then you see here I had to adjust the music because it was too much. And then afterwards, like, you can see that you can click different options for like captions and stuff. I didn't have any captions. I didn't have any actual audio or any like voiceovers. So I didn't need any captions for this particular event. All of my information about the event was in what's in my chatter, I guess you can say, like underneath the photo. So yeah.
Okay. Questions. Okay.
Questions. The Q&A is full.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going back again. There we go. All right. I don't know if I should start towards the top or the bottom. So how long does it typically take to prepare a reel?
For me, it would probably take about a total of maybe like 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes, because I have to look through all the footage that I want that I took on my phone, plus putting it all in there, and just kind of editing and getting everything done. So usually it would take me about 15-20 minutes to get something done. So that's that, but that's also just me.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer because I always want to send the reel that I made to like you or my editor, Marianne, bless her soul. She's so lovely. You know, for feedback, and then, you know, maybe I'll add more things or take things out. So yeah. Do you edit your video on your phone and then upload to Reels to enhance? Or do you just do it in Reels?
You can make your reels separately depending on how intricate you want your reel to be. I know some of the reels that I've made them on Premiere or CapCut. which is CapCut is an editing tool an editing app that you can download on your phone. So I do know that like I will sometimes use Premiere and stuff like that, but for the most part, you should be able to use like splice and trim on all that on Reels. So yeah, that video that I showed you, I made everything on Reels itself.
How do you determine when something might be a reel versus simply a set of photos or a short video?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think it's something that we talk about before doing the story. So I will have a conversation with the editor or with the writer about the story that they're writing and what kinds of visuals or content we might be able to do. So if it's we're going to a restaurant and it's a new restaurant that opened up, maybe a set of photos might be better instead of doing an entire reel. But if I'm going to a festival, I may want to do a reel, because a reel I can put a little bit more content in there and play around with it more. So I think talking to the writer or talking to the journalist it's something that is really important to do before going in and doing the content.
Yeah, I also think it depends on, like you said, kind of how visual something is. Because a festival, you're going to be able to get a bunch of videos, and you can also get a bunch of photos, but sometimes seeing like the moving parts might be might be more interesting than a still image, you know. My Instagram doesn't have the green screen option. It just goes from effects down to add yours. I think for that, you might just have to update your Instagram app. It might have some new, like, need an update, and then that will pop up eventually.
Yeah. The green screen is also something that's new that I just recently noticed popped up. So yeah, an update, it's probably something that you might need to do. And then it should pop up afterwards.
In layout, my screen splits in half. I'm not seeing the grid. What did I do or didn't I do?
Okay, that is a great question. When you're going into layout, there is right under the word layout, there is the option that says change grid. If you click that, it pops up with the 6 different options that you can do. So you can do like the 4 squares and it pops up with the 6 squares and it pops up with 6 squares. So yeah, if you click that little grid picture right underneath the word layout, it should pop up with the different options.
What's the difference between a reel and a story?
Do you want to go with this one?
Yeah, I can. So the difference between a reel and a reel is a video that you can actually, post on your timeline, so to speak. Whereas if you post a story, it just goes to your specific profile. So like if you see at the top of, so if you see at the top, these are all stories. If you click one of those, then it'll be, that's just what it is. I don't know how to explain it in any more technical terms. Marili, if you have one.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, the story is just it's put in that little like bubble up top.
Yeah, and then if you post a reel, it will just automatically go to your profile page and it'll be there for you to see forever. The only difference, another difference is that stories time out. So they'll be up for 24 hours and then it's gone. Whereas a reel is up until you delete it or archive it or whatever. So if I favorited photos or videos on my phone already for personal purposes, I will need to unfavorite everything except for what I want for the next reel. No. So if you have it favorited, you just can go there so it's easier to find, because if you're making a reel, say from a week ago, as opposed to going to your recents and then scrolling back a week's worth. You can just favorite it and then just go to the favorite section and they'll be closer to the top.
Yeah, as you've seen, I don't know if you noticed, but like there were a few selfies in there of myself and me and my partner. So, but they're my favorites. I love those photos. So, yeah, I was trying really hard not to have you guys see those.
Do you do your editing on your phone or a desktop?
I think we answered this before. I do a little bit of both, but the ones that I do on my desktop, I do on, well, if I'm on Reels, I'm on my phone. You can't really edit Reels on your computer for some reason, because it needs to be on the app. But if you're doing it on your computer, I'm usually using my Premiere or something like that, like an Adobe software or something. So yeah.
Also, we're always told to take horizontal photos / video, but I'm assuming for Reels, you want to take everything vertically. Question mark.
So I generally I would want to say yes. Reels, you would want to take vertical video. It just looks nicer, and it just works better for the the layout and the format of Reels. But Instagram does take horizontal videos, and it would still pop up technically as a reel. But if you're going to be making a reel, doing vertical video would probably be the best option. I know the DNC has been playing around with using vertical video on their website as well. So, trying new things and stuff.
Yes. And then this last question says, what are the secrets to creating / picking a good cover photo for a reel so it doesn't have to look weird in your feed?
That is a great question. I know that when I go to take videos, if I'm taking a video of something, um, I will take a photo on my phone, of maybe something that encompasses the entire story. Or recently when we went to Lilac Festival, I chose a photo of a lilac. Like the cover is just pictures of lilacs. Or if I'm doing a story on a bakery, I will probably do a portrait. I'll probably use the portrait of the bakery owners for the cover photo. Or if I don't have a photo, I'll take a screenshot from the video. So
Yeah. All right. I think that is all of the questions. Thank you. Here's our Gannett emails, our Instagrams, and websites.
Thank you. Such a good workshop. And for those who registered in advance, we have your email on file. We'll send the slides and the recording as well. And thank you so much for being engaged and for all the great questions.
Yeah.
And we'll keep in touch with future webinars.
thank you. Thank you. And if you have any more questions, please email us or send us a message or DM us or anything. We are more than happy to help.
Awesome. Okay.